Tonight on 7, taking the first step to reopen the economy.
People need to be vigilant, they need to be careful, and they need to understand the role that they can play themselves as we continue to bring this fight to the virus.
What's happening now and what comes next as the state prepares for a new normal?
In large part, sort of like a monumental day here in Massachusetts, Governor Baker announcing phase 1 of the opening of the state's economy.
Construction sites, manufacturing businesses, and places of worship are now able to reopen, but there are strict guidelines, and more businesses will be able to open come next Monday.
We have Team 7 coverage from a closer look at everything reopening today to how hair salons and barbershops are preparing to open doors as well. Let's begin with Jonathan Hall, who is live in Boston with more at 6. John.
That's right, Adam. Did somebody say hair salons? Well, we can all get a haircut in about a week as it stands now. This is going to be a phased-in approach with at least 3 weeks between each phases, and there are several stages within phase 1, so a lot to unpack here. But the governor says in order for this to work, in order for us to not have a second spike that would cause us to backtrack, we all have to continue to practice social distancing. The Reopening Advisory Board has done its work, and now Governor Baker is unveiling his long-awaited plan to reopen the state's economy.
This effort will hinge fundamentally on personal responsibility.
In phase 1 beginning today, manufacturing, construction, and churches and other houses of worship may reopen. Governor Baker acknowledging there is risk involved given that many parishioners are elderly. Weddings and funerals may continue, but with restrictions.
The guidance that was developed on this is very particular and very clear.
In a week, you'll see offices, barbershops, and hair salons begin to reopen. Also on May 25th, retail stores will be open for remote fulfillment and curbside pickup. Beaches and parks may start to open up too, as well as some athletic fields and courts.
If businesses are able, we strongly encourage you to have your employees continue to work from home.
Office buildings may stay at 25% capacity. Mayor Walsh extended a state of emergency in the city of Boston, so offices here will not open until the 1st of June.
People need to continue to use their heads on this stuff and to recognize and understand that we are still in the middle of this virus, that it's not gone away.
Lots of people are wondering when they can go out with the family and get a meal. That's going to have to wait for phase 2 called Cautious. Retail stores, restaurants, and lodging will open then, along with nail salons and day spas. Campgrounds, playgrounds, and public pools will also be phase 2, hopefully in time for the 4th of July. Day camps will be able to open up for kids in phase 2, but overnight camps won't be until later in the summer. Gyms, bars, casinos, and museums all will not be open until phase 3, dubbed Vigilant. That's at least 6 weeks away. Also today, hospitals and medical offices will be getting busier.
We are allowing high-priority preventive services, including pediatric care, immunizations, and chronic disease for high-risk patients, and urgent procedures or care that's been deferred but now at risk.
The stay-at-home advisory becomes a stay-safer-at-home advisory, with people urged not to play pickup sports games, refrain from visiting nursing homes, and limit play dates for the kids.
It's not a dramatic departure from where we were, but it does reflect the fact that we are pursuing, at this point, a phased reopening strategy.
And dental cleanings will also have to wait for phase 2. Employers who want to open up their business can do so merely by stating that they are ready. There'll be no local inspections in advance. However, your customers could complain, and then there would be an inspection. Live at the State House, Jonathan Hall, 7 News.
Some business owners of restaurants and retail stores, among others, are facing frustration. Many of them, too, wondering when exactly can they open their doors to customers again. 7's Steve Cooper is live in Somerville with more. Coop.
Yeah, right here at Assembly Road tonight. In fact, Kim, if you look behind us here, empty sidewalks and empty stores. Now, as you mentioned, retailers and restaurants were hoping to be included in that phase 1 reopening that the governor unveiled today, but that didn't happen, and it's left them frustrated and deeply concerned.
I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm happy that, it's people's safety first.
As a waitress in Boston, Taylor Cavallari hasn't worked in weeks. Under the governor's reopening plan, it'll be several more weeks before restaurants can reopen and she can get back to work.
It's pretty lousy right now, but, It's better to be safe than sorry.
It's a frustration that we're being treated so poorly with no guidance whatsoever.
For restaurant owners like Marty Bloom, it's been a brutal 2 months, and not being able to open yet is a gigantic disappointment.
It's all about the fact that there's nobody communicate with us. There's almost 500,000 people in the state that are connected to the restaurant industry in one way or the other. And there's nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing but silence on what's going to happen to our industry.
Barbershops and hair salons get the green light to open next week under strict safety standards, similar how they did it in Maine and New Hampshire. But no such luck for frustrated retailers like here at Assembly Row in Somerville. And it's left the Mass Retailers Association not exactly pleased.
Steve, we're incredibly disappointed and confused.
For casinos like Encore and Everett and lodging, any plans of reopening like restaurants are still weeks away. Joe Milano, owner of America's oldest restaurant, the Union Oyster House in Boston, it's the unknown that's unsettling at the moment.
I think the unknown is specifically we don't know when. We assume it's June.
And so the slow rollout for reopening means restaurants and retailers will have to sit tight and wait at least a few more weeks and maybe longer, even as their frustration continues to grow. We're live in Somerville tonight. Steve Cooper, 7 News.